I'm Krista Wax. You're listening to MSP Sound on KFAI, and I'm so excited. I have Wright Edwards here of the Find Your Stage event 2022 coming up in September. Hey, how are you?
I'm fantastic. How are you doing tonight?
I'm great.
Good. Glad to hear it.
So, you are part of running this amazing event coming up in September. Give us some details, a little bit background of it.
Well, so background. I'm going to give you a little background about me. I have spent 15 years as a systems analyst at Target Corporation, Medtronic, and SPS Commerce. And so my job has always been to, I don't know, somehow I've kind of created a career of going in and finding where we have some problems that people like to ignore, or people don't know what's going on, or we've been doing the same thing for the last 40 years. Why change it? And I go in and ask questions and say, how can we change this? How can we make things better? And so I've kind of lived a life of going in, not knowing what's going on, not knowing what the existing processes are. And I go in and ask these questions. And I find the people who are in charge, and I find the people who are making decisions, and try to say, okay, they know this and this and this. What about this? Where are those gaps? And then if they don't know these answers, I find the next person and say, okay, how are they managing things? How do we do these things? And so the whole time I've been a business analyst and making money that way, I've been a musician and a struggling musician with all these questions. And I mean, early on in my career, I remember reaching out to anybody I could, music directors at churches, or I was in community theater and I talked to the person in charge of the bands there, and I get recommendations to talk to producers or people around town or people who did things 30 years ago, and I just didn't have the connections to figure out what does the music scene look like and what steps do I take as a new artist. And so, I mean, I was paying money to people, $100 just to go and talk to one person who would tell me nothing helpful because I didn't know what questions to ask. And so I just got started on this long journey of trying to figure out, like, I love music. Music is what drives me. It's what calms my spirit when I'm upset and when work is terrible. I would retreat to John Mayer had an album called Heavier Things, where it was kind of all about, oh man, I'm famous and my whole life is all about fame. And I just wish I had a home life and I could just sit in traffic on the highway and I could just have that normal routine. And at the same time, I was like hating that routine and wishing for the fame. And so it was kind of this balm of his music and saying, okay, I'm kind of going to live vicariously through there. And someday I'm going to get to where he is. And hopefully someday he'll get a chance to have a little more normalcy in his life. So I know I'm rambling a bit here, but I always just had this dream of bringing people together around music. And over the last 10 years or so, I've taken a step back from playing out because I've been raising these three kids of mine. And now that my oldest is 11, I really started wanting to, well, I guess it's a couple of years ago, actually, I really started thinking about, like, as my kids are getting older, how am I going to get back in? What's it going to look like? And I met this guy named Matt Patrick, who worked at the library recording studio. Not just worked at, he owns the library recording studio. And I met him at a show that a friend of mine was doing. He was playing bass guitar, and the person, Amy Anderson, she took a break for a few minutes and he played his song. And I was just like, wow, this is amazing. So I bought his CD and I saw that he produced it. And so I got hooked up with him, and we put together an album. And I just thought, this is so cool. This is the most amazing music I've ever done. I can't believe how talented Matt is. Everything that he's done with this has been incredible. I've learned so much. And then I just started talking to him over and over, like, so how did you get to where you are? And how do you know all these people? And what does this soul scene look like? And so he was giving me all these answers. I thought, man, if everybody knew how this stuff works, how you work with a producer, how you market yourself, how you get on stages with other bands and do all this stuff you need to do to be a musician. This is just incredible information. And so that just put the seed in my head. And so for 2 years, I've just been thinking, how do I put on my systems hat again and say, where are the right people? Who knows, who knows the answers to all the questions that we need, so that we can come together as a music community and share these answers together, and not just try to struggle through it on our own as, oh, I'm a solo artist and I want to do everything myself, but how do you really latch into that community and we can help each other, just like you were mentioning before.
Absolutely. Oh, that's incredible. I like I love that. It should be just like a great conversation. And yeah, like what we were saying is I wish I could tell people how to submit your music and what I want to do, what to do, and not the don't do this, don't do that. We want to keep it positive.
Absolutely.
So, tell me about some of the speakers, what's going to happen, how the layout, all the fun stuff.
Sure. Oh, it's going to be like the Tonight Show, the extended version. We're going to have people up on these couches. We're going to have a moderator who's going to be asking some of these questions to people who are just incredible. I mean, we have record producers who have worked with Corey Wong, who's international touring artist. People who've worked. Well, I've got them all listed on the website, but just pull that up. My cheat sheet. I have too many cheat sheets. So much stuff is going on with this. And that's one of the exciting things. There's so much going on. I'm
It's
trying to
so,
keep it all straight.
it's at the Varsity Theater, September 17th.
17th and 18th. Yeah,
Wonderful.
exactly. There we go. All right. Yeah. So, yeah, we have record producers who've worked with, oh, yeah, Taylor Swift. Um, Andy Thompson worked on a couple tracks for Taylor Swift's Red album, which is super inspiring, and it's cool to hear the story of how he became one of the producers on that album. Um, Matt Patrick's worked with Corey Wong and Jerry Messersmith. Reina Del Cid, who's been played a lot on The Current. Actually, she was in the studio kind of at the same time when I was in the studio with Matt recording my album, and so it was always fun to go in and see see these other. Actually, Corey Wong was in there at one point too, and Matt tried to get him to. He said, "If we have time, see if we can get you to play a couple licks on Rye's album," and it didn't end up working out. But it was just fun to be in that space and be around those other artists and be able to hear what Matt was working on for the other things. So anyway, yeah, so we're going to have record producers, we're going to have radio DJs, we're going to have bloggers and podcasters, music publicists coming in and sharing these secrets and communicating, like you said. You want to know how people, or you want to be able to teach people how to submit music so that everybody can, so that you're getting in the format that you need it, so that it's successful. That you get what you need, you can put it on your show, everybody's happy. And that's what we want to do in all these different stages. So figuring out, how do you make your music look professional? How do you, what are all the different aspects beyond just what it sounds like? How do you present it? How does it look? What does your website look like? What does your artist bio look like? All of these different aspects about, really forming your identity as an artist and forming your brand to say, I want to attract people that like my music. You don't just want to throw out a net and catch everybody and say, well, everybody should like me, whether you like rap or country or Celtic or classical. Everybody loves my music. You want to figure out who really digs your style, your brand, who you are. And that's a complicated process, but to be able to hear some of that from music publicists and from DJs to say, yeah, this is what we want to see. This is the kind of information that I want, so that you submit it and it makes sense. And I can say, yes, this works for my show, or no, it doesn't. That type of thing.
All right. That is quite the organizational process that you are going through, getting people. And do you have everyone kind of lined up for who's going to be part of it? Or are you still kind of announcing, or yeah,
Yeah,
are you
yeah,
still
we're still kind of announcing. We have all the musical acts lined up. We have 6 different musical acts, 3 during the conference itself, and then there's a showcase on Saturday night where we have a really great band called None Above. Have you heard of them yet?
I haven't, no.
Oh, people keep telling me that, and it breaks my heart because they're so good. It is a pop rock neo soul group. I mean, it's 4 kids from one family. Shouldn't call them kids, but they're young people, younger than me anyway. Incredible musicians. I mean, their sound kind of reminds me of like we say neo soul, like New Jackson 5. They blend so well. Their voices are incredible. Their instrumentation is incredible. I mean, just like the bass licks that you hear. If you like kind of a funky bass lick, they've got some of this funk, and then they've got some more rock and pop. but just super talented musicians, and I can't wait to show them to the world because I mean that's why it's a showcase. They're going to be playing, and then we also have Samantha Grimes and the 53s. Familiar with them at all? Okay,
Yes,
got some
yes,
nods there.
yes.
And then Turn Turn Turn, which is
Oh, yeah.
Adam Levy's new project that started right at the height of COVID, right in 2020. They got together to do, I think they wanted to mainly do like folk covers of the Association and bands in the 60s and 70s. And then they started making music together. And so it's him and Savannah Smith and, oh boy, I'm going to forget the other person's name. But they do these,
Barb, Barb.
there we go. Barb. Perfect. So they do these tight harmonies between Adam and the two ladies, and they both play guitars, and so that's going to be a great way to start that show. Yeah, and then yeah, during the conference we have Ryan Smith from Soul Asylum and the Melismatics. He's going to play over lunch on Sunday. So I mean, it's let's see, and then Annie Fitzgerald is going to play Saturday afternoon, and Dan Schwartz is a fingerstyle guitarist that I fell in love with probably 20 years ago. Great singer songwriter. He plays a lot of fun stuff. He has like harp guitar. I don't know if are you familiar with harp guitar at all. It's
No.
basically like it has. You got to look on the website. There's a picture of him holding a harp guitar, but it basically has like these huge bass strings attached on the top of the guitar, and then the rest of the guitar is right down here. So it's this kind of monstrosity thing, but it's really fun to watch him play this kind of amazing instrument. So it's gonna be a lot of fun with the music side of things, and then we'll have these panels set up throughout the day as well to share all this knowledge, and then we definitely have some intentional networking pieces in there so that all the people who are attending can meet and talk about what they're learning, share their own stories, because again, this is all for singer songwriters and people who I'm sure have their own battle stories about what their journey has looked like and what's working for them. And I just want to acknowledge that everybody who comes, that's a big piece of the wealth of the knowledge. It's not just the community of people on stage, but also all the people who are attending who can share their expertise and their experience with each other.
Absolutely. What an amazing, wow, so many great guests. Was there somebody that, I mean, I'm sure everyone's your favorite that you have on panels and everywhere, but was there one person where you're like, yes, they're going to be part of it, or something that just, since you
I have
don't want to admit that, that's fine too.
I have jumped up and down so many times during this. When I get so excited, like, yes, I got him. Wow, I got him. I got him. I got her. I got her. This is amazing. Um, and it's been such a fun process for me because um, a lot of people that I've reached out to have had conflicts and haven't been able to attend, but everybody's more than willing to recommend another friend of theirs or somebody else. And so, for instance, Annie Fitzgerald was somebody that I hadn't heard before. And when I heard her voice for the first time, I just sat in stunned silence and just like, this is so cool. I can't wait to meet this person. I can't wait to hear this person play at the event. That's so exciting. Um, but I mean, it's just such an amazing group of people. They like Greg Ryerson, who owns um, mastering. Oh my goodness, I'm blanking on everything tonight. I apologize, but
That's
rare,
right.
rare form mastering. I do remember it. He's worked on albums for Jay-Z and I mean, just everybody. I mean, local people like Dan Rodriguez, and Dan Wilson. I mean, he's just all over the place. He worked on albums for Prince. He's got everybody, and so it's so cool to be able to have him come in the panel and talk about, well, how did you become the go-to master guy for all these different bands? Talking to Matt Patrick and saying, how did you get involved uh, with Corey Long, and how did Andy Thompson get hooked up to talk with Taylor Swift? And I kind of know some of these stories, which is really fun, but I can't wait to have them share exactly what's going on, because the pieces of their story that to me are so inspiring. I guess that's what I want to share. Is I want to share that spark of inspiration to say, look how this happened, whether it was organically or what steps they took, so that you can go out and do the same types of things. Um, right now you can go online and you can Google a lot of things, and you can figure out technology, and you can record all your music in your own room and put it out there with just a guitar and your voice or whatever, and then go out and try to sell albums, one at a time to people, because the technology allows us to do everything kind of independently. But what I keep hearing from the people and the speakers who are going to be here is that no person is an island. We're all part of this community, and the biggest steps we take are not those we take alone. It's the ones we take with somebody else who knows where they're going, who has projects in the works, and knows how to get into play the next stage or the next show, and working together with other people. That's how people are taking the giant leaps in their careers, is through that networking piece. And that's another reason where people are saying, oh man, with COVID or with whatever, or just how expensive it is, why are you doing this at the Varsity Theater? And you could make a lot more money if you did this online. And I'm like, but the power of relationship and meeting with people, that's what really drives a lot of the growth for us as human beings, just in general. I mean, our relationships are everything, really. And that's how we grow. We have more fun. It's a lot more fun to do things together. It's more fun for me to talk to you tonight about my event than it is for me to sit in my room and say, oh, this is so cool, I'm going to keep talking to myself about how cool this is.
True.
It's fun to be able to share. And that's what this whole event is going to be, that we can come together and share in this in-person. And you're going to have new relationships. You show up to this event and you're going to meet people. Your life will be forever changed because you have these other people. It's powerful.
That's incredible. I like it. And it's, after all this COVID, it's nice to have something where we can come together with a common interest.
Exactly.
And grow and learn together. I like that. Where can people get tickets?
So tickets, go to www.findyourstageevent.com, and that's going to show you the whole lineup, the schedule of the day, what the panels are called, and a lot of the speakers. We don't have everybody up on there yet, but I think we have 10 of the speakers up of the 15 we're going to have, and all the artists are listed there as well. So yeah, you can go there. And actually, if you're listening to this, there's actually a promotion for anyone who's listening on the radio. Just put in radio in all caps, and that'll give you 10% off of your conference ticket. So that'll be a good deal.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, definitely, because radio is super, super cool, super important. And we want to reward the people for listening to MSP Sound.
Yes. Love it. Love it. Well, that's amazing. Rye, thank you so much for coming on the show and for creating this event. And
Welcome.
I'm so excited to be a part of it and meet people and talk. And I'm sure I'll learn too what not to do on the radio. Someone will say, stop doing that, Krista. But thank you so much and congrats on the event. And I will see you in September.
Sounds great. Thank you.